So it's not a case of cutting out carbs. And this is what I often hear recommended to people who have prediabetes or insulin resistance is like, cut your carbs, stop eating carbs, do keto, do, whatever other thing. There's a lot of harms to that. But the biggest thing that I see with patients is that when you cut out carbs, that is our preferred fuel source for our brain and for our body in general. We need carbs. We have to have carbs. Our brains love carbs and we don't function well in terms of how we're thinking, how we're feeling. All of those things in our brain do not work well when we don't have carbs as our fuel source. So we need to have carbs. And so when you don't eat any carbs, your craving for carbs is going to increase significantly because your body is telling you, I need this, I need this. And so what happens is if you cut out carbs or skip meals entirely even, which is another thing that I hear, your craving for food and carbs specifically is going to go up. And what's going to happen is what is often called the restrict-binge restrict cycle. So you've restricted, your body is now heavily craving carbs, heavily craving food, and then you're going to have a big overeating episode. And a big overeating episode is a normal response to restriction. Your body has been starved or restricted from the fuel that it needs. And so biologically, the normal thing for your body to do is stock up on that thing next time it's available to make sure that you have the stores available if that happens again. That is just like how we are wired. So it's a very normal process, but it is the worst thing that you could do when you have trouble with managing your blood sugar, because if you eat a very big, heavy meal, and particularly predominantly carb meal, which is often what happens when we have a binging episode, your blood sugar spikes super high, and that is really, really hard for your body to overcome when you're insulin resistant. You're going to stay at a higher blood sugar for longer. Your body's going to dump a bunch of insulin to try to lower that blood sugar level. And what sometimes happens, and you may have experienced this if you have insulin resistance or prediabetes, is it reaches that threshold where the insulin production was so high that your blood sugar starts to drop really fast. And then you get what's called reactive hypoglycemia. So your blood sugar went from being super, super high to super, super low really, really drastically. And you'll feel that brain fog, that tiredness, that kind of anxiety, nervousness, agitation from your blood sugar going down after meals. Or you'll feel really lethargic, really sluggish, really sleepy. And again, really hard to function in your day-to-day life when you're feeling that way. So really important to make sure you're eating those regular balanced meals with all of the nutrients that your body needs, not restricting yourself, not cutting things out completely so that you're craving them excessively at another time, but just giving your body what it needs so that you feel satiated, you feel full, you feel well-fueled, and you have all the things that you need to function at your best.